This week on The Real Housewives of Orange County.
Kid, you bitch. You're a bitch.
No, I don't even know
Why
you.
do you sit there, Eddie?
I don't.
FBI guy
Eddie.
for you.
Stop.
FBI? What?
Stop. Who knows?
Yo, what is up, everybody, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about The Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 18, Episode 12. This was a crazy episode, so let's get right into it. The episode opens up with Gina, Emily, and Tamara at a restaurant discussing what happened the night before at the party. Emily and Heather got into it over the dress that Emily wore at the fashion show, and they also talk about Alexis' lunatic behavior. I said this last week, but Emily going off on Alexis was the best thing ever. Gina then says that the other night, Alexis kept saying, "Oh, there's something that's going to be published tomorrow. It's going to be released about Shannon soon." So she kept teasing that. And so they're wondering what that is. And they actually then showed like a little bit of a flash forward of what's going to happen in the next 8 hours. And it sounded like Shannon was losing her mind. So then the first scene is Heather and Terry going to the doctor's office. I think it's good that he's taking care of his health and Heather is on top of that as well, going with him to all of these appointments. He is also gonna get a nose job for, I think, something about his breathing. I don't know. Heather then tells Terry about the party, and she feels like Emily and Gina just don't like her. She says that she feels like it's always something with them. There's always like a little bit of an issue. But you guys, when Terry is, telling her, "Oh, well, you've been hashing the same thing with them for like already 3 times." Heather says, "That's not true. You're being mean." And then Terry says, "Okay, I'm done talking about it then." And then there's a hot mic moment where she says to him, "Don't do that to me on camera. Don't cut me off." Damn. Like I said before, they're both annoying, but I'm glad they kept this little hot mic moment because it shows how pretentious these people are. Then we see Ryan and Jennifer. Now, I gotta tell y'all, I love Ryan and Jen. I know they're not perfect and they make mistakes, but I really do like them. So they're shopping, and Ryan's like a little diva, not in a bad way, but like in the way that he likes to have his clothes tailored and specific. Like he's specific on his outfits. Some of them gotta be tight, this and that. So all those things. There was a really cool jacket that he tries on and he liked it. And then the lady at the store tells them that Tamara and Eddie were there the other day and that Eddie also bought that same jacket. And they were just like, "Oh, okay, wow." Jen and Tamara, they're in a good place now. They've been able to overcome a lot of their issues from last year. However, Jen tells Ryan that to make everything harmonious, Ryan and Eddie should probably make up because Ryan went on a podcast and said some things about him. Nothing horrible. I mean, it wasn't like slander or damaging. It was just a little shady. Ryan says to Jen that, yeah, he would like to talk with him. Like, he doesn't have an issue with that. But he's never going to be friends with him because Eddie's not a dude. Ryan says that he isn't a dude. What I think he meant is that, like when women say, "Oh, she's a girl's girl," I think that's what Ryan meant. Like, he's not a dude. A lot of people on social media were like, "What does he mean by that?" I think that's what he means. Like, he's not a cool guy. At the same time, they were showing Eddie and Tamara talking about this very same thing, but you can already tell that they're taking the side of like, "Oh, Eddie's the victim, Ryan talked about him." And when Tamara kind of also tries to insinuate that Eddie and and Ryan should talk, Eddie says, "Nope, not gonna happen. He's scum." Okay. Anyway, then we see Shannon FaceTime her daughter who's in college and they're catching up, and then Shannon tells her about this lawsuit that they're threatening her with and all of this. And usually I would say that parents shouldn't bring their kids into the adult business like Teresa does with Gia, but I think this is different because her daughter is grown, but also like this is a man who her mom happened to date and is not with anymore. So I think it's a little bit of a different situation. So I appreciated that she was talking to her about this. But anyway, Shannon says, "I can't imagine this getting worse." As soon as she said that, the screen shows day later, and that's the day that John Jansen officially filed the lawsuit against Shannon for $75,000, and that's same very day they officially published it on People magazine. So Tamara calls Shannon right away. Shannon didn't answer, but then she accidentally butt dials Tamra, and that's where we hear Shannon crying, and she's just completely distraught, panicking, very overwhelmed. But you guys, this is what is bizarre. Not surprising, but crazy. It looked like Tamara was a little gleeful over the lawsuit. Like she had a little bit of a smirk. And it just shows you what a horrible person she is. I was just like, wow. So then we see Katie and her husband. They're getting stuff ready because they're hosting a little couples get together. So it'll be them two, and then Emily and Shane, Tamara, Eddie, Jen, and Ryan. She's not inviting Heather because obviously they don't like each other. Gina has something to do, and then she didn't want to invite Shannon because she didn't want to make her feel a little left out because it's a couples thing. They also showed Terry getting his nose job with Heather with him as well. Then we see Gina, her ex-husband, Matt, and his fiance go to her house. Matt and his fiance are getting married. The good thing is, though, that Gina really gets along with both of them, which, by the way, the fiance looks like a mixture of Angie K and Kelly Dodd. But anyway, Gina is happy for them and says that this lady will be an amazing stepmom. Unfortunately, she can't relate with Travis. She also says that Travis's wife makes things very complicated and almost impossible. And that for sure has been a big issue in them being able to have a good relationship. So that's very sad. Okay, so then we head over to Katie's house. She's having brisket, chicken, mac and cheese, potato salad, bread and beans. She ordered it, but she wants them to think that she made it because that's what you do when you invite people over here in the South. She talked about the South, and she is correct. We're gonna cook for the people, but she didn't have time, I guess. Before everyone arrives, Katie warns her husband on the fact that Eddie and Ryan have bad blood and that this is going to be the first time they see each other. So once everyone begins to arrive, they're greeting each other and super awkward. When Ryan gets there, he's saying hi to everyone, which, by the way, even listen, I'm crazy, but I really like to analyze people's body language and things like that, even when if it's as simple as greeting someone. I noticed that when all of the guys were saying hi to Matt, who's Katie's husband, Ryan was definitely the most friendliest. The weirdest one was Shane, Emily's husband, who's Kelly Dodd called him a dork a long time ago, and she's definitely right. He is such a dork. But right, you can tell the way Ryan was saying, like, "Hey, Matt, thank you for having us in your house." Like, just a cool guy. But like I said, that was just a little side note. But like I said, Ryan is saying hi to everyone, and when he gets to Eddie, Eddie is refusing to greet him. He completely ignores him. It was so pathetic. I was like, oh, come on. And Ryan even says, "You don't want to give me a hug?" And then that's when Eddie says, "I have nothing to say to you." Okay. Also, because there's a situation with husbands, Tamara whispers to Emily and calls Ryan a little bitch, and then they show a flashback of Kelly Dodd calling Shane a little bitch. Man, do I miss Kelly Dodd. So then, Matt, who is Katie's husband, takes Ryan outside, and he asks him, "What do you do?" Now, let me tell you, I told you I like Ryan, but I also gotta keep it real. When you ask somebody what do they do, and they have to give you an explanation of like minutes, that's a little suspicious. Like, it would be so simple. What do you do? "Oh, I'm a lawyer. I'm a contractor. I'm this. I'm that." No. "Oh, well, social media and investment and is like, oh, that is red flag. But anyway, there's a lot of tension in the house, and Tamara was drinking a little too much. So they sit at a dinner table outside. Matt and Katie talk a little bit about how they met, and then here comes Tamara. "Well, I saw your wife's butthole at the dinner table, you guys. Who says that stuff? Disgusting." So then they talk about Alexis and her crazy behavior the other night, and Emily goes off again on this stress thing. She cries and says that she goes to the gym every day, so the fact that her and Alexis had the same dress, but hers was a size 12, it was heartbreaking. And look, I get it. I gave Emily a lot of empathy these past few weeks. I do feel bad for her. I think her feelings are valid. But she needs to understand, though, that people just have different body types, men and women. So even people that are fit, you can be extremely fit, but have different body types than someone else. So again, I feel bad for her, but I do think it's time to kind of move past this situation. Then they talk about the lawsuit that was just published, and Tamara says that Shannon butt dialed her and that Shannon places a lot of the blame on Alexis. Everyone understands that. They understand why Shannon would be upset at Alexis. Everybody but Tamara. Matter of fact, she was defending Alexis. Emily says, well, Shannon did accept to pay the money, but they refused to sign the non-disparagement clause. So they discuss that, and then Tamara says, well, can we talk about the elephant in the room? She then addresses Ryan and says that, you went on a podcast and disparaged me as a mother and Eddie as a businessman. Jen says, no, he did. He never talked about Eddie being, as being a businessman. Tamara says, yes, he did. And Ryan said, listen, I supported you all until y'all started talking bad about me. Eddie, because remember, Eddie said that some guys went up to him and said, be careful of Ryan because he likes to screw married women. So Ryan says to them, if this were true, if someone really did tell you this, Eddie, you would have came to me and brought it up. Like, you would have been like, what's up? Like, is that true? Eddie says, well, I didn't bring it up because you're not a threat to me and you would never have my wife. Which, by the way, I don't think that's true, and I'll tell you that in a second. Tamara then says something, so Jen is like, why are you doing this? You came after him all last year. And here goes Tamara with her shouting, it was all the truth. He talked about my husband. He talked about me as a mother. The crazy part is, y'all, they showed the podcast, little clips of it. And Ryan did not talk about her being a mother at all. Anything about that. But wait. Then she brings up a post that Ryan posted on his Instagram story. It was like a repost of a meme that someone had made where it said, oh, Tamara, worry about your own Ryan and his D-pics. Apparently, back in the day, her son Ryan sent a D-pic. So it had to do with what was going on last season. So it was kind of like calling her out. But Tamara is saying, don't you ever mention my kids. I will go after you. Girl, bad. So she continues her classic Tamara behavior, trashy, ghetto, ratchet. She starts screaming at him and calling him a bitch. You're a bitch! Oh my goodness. And Ryan says, are you really talking like this as a grown woman at a dinner table? I mean, he is correct. Like, who acts like this? And then her joke of a husband, Eddie, tries to shut her up after Jen says something. Jen says, are you not going to control your wife? So he tries to kind of shut her up, and she then says, how's the FBI going for you? And then poor Jen says, FBI? Then Tamara gets up and leaves. Apparently the FBI is looking into him for illegal gambling or something along those lines. And that was the end of the episode. Wow, was that a lot? Oh my goodness. I was glued to the last 20 minutes of the episode, guys. It was really interesting to see. Like I said, Eddie is a joke of a man. The fact that he's married to somebody as Tamara tells you everything you need to know about the type of man that he is. Ryan, like I said, I like him. Do I think there's illegal activity going on? I do. I said to you guys, I'm not, I'm realistic. I think there's some shady stuff going on. But for Tamara to be the one bringing it up, nope, wrong messenger. I feel bad for Jen for sure. I will also say, going back to, I told you I was going to tell you in a second. When Eddie says, you would never have my wife, I'm telling y'all this right now. This is just my thinking. This is not a fact, just my opinion. I think 100% that Tamara has the hots for Ryan. I truly believe that if it were up to her, she would jump on top of him. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. And it would explain the frustration against him. Just a thought. But yeah, I will also, again, going back to Ryan, gotta give it up to my guy because he was able to take on a woman without it being like a disrespectful type of way. Like, I don't think anyone's going to be like, oh, don't fight women like that, as we've seen before. I thought he was extremely respectful and at the same time defending himself, but at the same, being respectful. But anyway, you guys, this was a lot. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about this crazy fight. Whose side are you on? What are your thoughts? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. You'll have a great one. Bye.